Roy Smith is our market analyst this week. With the help of the U.S. Department of Agriculture's January crop report on the 12th, corn and soybean markets experienced noteworthy prices. The March corn futures contract closed Friday after the report at $3.46 per bushel. That was a new low. The March soybean futures contract, however, bounced higher. Previously, it had dropped 71 cents from its winter high of $10.21 in early December, which was its best mark since late July. On a cold Tuesday afternoon, we talked with Roy inside at Midwest Farmers Co-op near Plattsmouth and began by asking about the recent market movements.
Well, it's been kind of interesting to watch because they've done exactly the opposite. Corn has been more or less flat for a long time, going back into August. Soybeans have been in a nice uptrend, and it looked like maybe we'd found the secret in the soybean market because we got some government reports that for a change were positive. But a couple days this week, the market just kind of fell out of bed, and gee, I hate to see that because it's hard getting it back once you lose it. And hopefully we had some farmers that got some beans sold, and so that's where we are right now.
Like you said, since fall, corn has been gradually trending lower. Is that uncommon to see, that line downward with really no bumps in the middle?
Well, there's nothing, no bumps in the middle, like you say, and people look for some signal to do something, and in the corn market there's just been nothing to do. In the soybean market there have been something to do, and about the time everybody's ready to pull the trigger, it sort of fell out of bed. And so wintertime is not usually a good time to be making sales, and this year certainly proves that.
Yeah, you've said that January and February are there to make you frustrated. Would you set some targets for corn right now, or what do you think you should hope to get?
As opposed to setting some targets, my recommendation for a couple of months has been, divide your crop up into increments and sell a little bit as we go along. We raise the crop to sell it, and nobody wants to sell below the cost of production, including me, but we need to get this, to keep this stuff moving so that we don't end up, I have a terminology I use, getting stuck with last year's corn. Agricultural acupuncture, getting stuck with last year's corn. Well, don't do that. That's the best thing I can say. Don't do that. Don't get yourself in a position where you have to move something in August or September. So
let's talk about soybeans, because we're approaching an interesting time when you never sell soybeans, and that's the month of February. Does
right.
that hold again this year?
That still holds in my book until I see something that proves it different. But now, never sell soybeans in February. That's a real strong indication. But is that going to hold true this year? I wish I could say I know, but I don't. But there's beans are out there. South America is getting ready to have a big harvest. That's going to be another factor, and so I say if you got beans in storage and you're thinking of holding them, don't hold them too long. Get rid of them by the 1st of February or the 1st of March, somewhere along in there, because when that South American crop comes on, it could get ugly for a little while. I still believe that long-term trend that we saw back there when we were talking, it may hold, and I hope it does hold, but right now there's nothing that says it has to.
What's the importance of watching basis movement right now?
Well, the basis movement should be an indicator of what the actual supply and demand is. And I say should be because, boy, it's not doing well this year. But in general, once we get past the holidays, past November and December, and focusing on what's out there, you'd like to think that there may be a little bit of a rally. If there is, focus on the terminology a little bit, because it may come and go real fast and leave you in a situation that we were talking about before.
I want to ask one final question about forward marketing. We saw in the latest stocks report that corn and soybean stocks were both higher than last year, granted perhaps with bigger crops. But in this area where there's not much irrigation, you don't do a lot of, or you didn't do a lot of forward contracting. That being said, how do you use forward contracting so you don't get in a situation where you're stuck with all of the crop acupuncture?
I think you set targets, set goals, and again, be ready to pull the trigger, and don't carry those beans over into August, because that's a sure trap that you're probably going to end up getting less than what you wanted, or less than what it looks like you should have with the size of crop that we've got.